Hiya, how you doing? Jimmy here. If you haven't seen my channel before, I'm currently converting that panel van into a camper van, and most of my videos are about that. Today's video was originally going to be the follow-up to my shower video. What was it I called it? My emergency shower. An occasional emergency shower. So at least the beginning of this video started way back in February, before the plans all changed. I decided it was better to put the bulkhead in before I put the offside wall in. Then we had Corona, then we had lockdown, and we've just recently got back to doing a little bit work on it. So this video is going to be a catch-up, update video, just to let you see what I've been doing lately. I'll put a link at the end of this video to the bulkhead and the shower videos that I was talking about, just in case you're interested. The purpose of this wooden frame that I've screwed to the ceiling, its main purpose is going to be the securing point for the partition wall. The wall is going to secure into the top frame, into the bottom frame and the side frame. But it's also going to have a suspended ceiling, a false ceiling. And I want a light in here, so I'm going to have to run some wires in. And if I remember correctly, these wires here are the wires for the ceiling lights. So I'm going to take my live from here and just run the wire behind and into the ceiling. So that's what I'm going to do now. Well, that was very easy. I wish all the jobs went as easy as that. I found the leads, because I couldn't remember. That was put in about a year ago, and I couldn't remember because there's a few wires in there. There was 2 red leads in there, and I suspected one of them was the light circuit, the feed for the ceiling lights. And so what I did was I'm just going to use these. They used to be called Scotch locks. They don't call them that now. They call them tab connectors or something, I think. But we always used to know them as Scotch locks. And you put the wire in and then put your end of your wire. But there's one of those goes all the way through and one only goes part way through. So you just clip that over the wire that you want to join to. Put your new wire, put them together. There's a metal piece sticks up in the middle. Let's put your pliers on there and nip it up. So I tried that, and then I just wanted to try and see if it was live. So I was going to go and get my voltmeter, but I thought, well, I've got to test the light as well. So I just put the red wire on the light onto there and touch it onto the earth, and you see the light comes on, which indicates that that is alive and that is working fine. So you've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. But I want to make sure that it's on the lighting circuit. That might have been a supply for something else, and I want it to be on the circuit for the ceiling lights. So if I unplug the fuse for the ceiling lights, I hope you can still see me, then we do this again and it doesn't work. So that means that is the live feed for the lighting circuit, and that's what we want. Now if we pop the fuse back in, Now I want that light to be able to work on its own. So I want to make sure that that is live when the other lights are off. So if I turn the lights off and do the same check again. There you go. So that's exactly the wire I want. So all I have to do now is to route it through here, and obviously you need to put an earth wire in, but that's dead easy. So that's your live. I want to put it through a switch as well, so that you can have just one light on. If you're in the middle of the night and you're getting up to go to the toilet, you can just put one light on without lighting up the whole van and waking up your partner. Because I'm very thoughtful. Okay, that's the wiring done. Very simple, less than 5 minutes. I've just took the live from here. You can't see it now, I've pushed it up the back, but just a Scotch lock onto the live. Checking the live is the right one took all the time. Wiring it up after that was a piece of cake. The earth there is just self-tapper into the bodywork. Make sure you take the paint off to give it a good connection. And then just a little short wire through to here. I've just left the tails lying there because I don't know where the I don't know the exact position of the light yet, and I don't know where I'm going to put the switch yet. But putting a switch in is dead easy. That's your live wire. You cut the wire, you put one end to one side of the switch and the other to the other side of the switch. That's your switch done. Absolutely piece of cake. The earth, as I say, down to there. The reason I'm mentioning the earth again is I've seen people on YouTube saying that you should take it back to an earth connecting block near your fuse box. To me that seems crazy, because if you're running an earth wire all the way back there, you're wasting loads of cable, and you don't need to. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just connecting it to the body of the vehicle. The body of the vehicle is the earth. So what we're going to do now is I want to put the false ceiling in there, and I want it to match the ceiling I've got now. So what I want to try and do, what I'm going to do is I've got some cladding left, and I want to just put cladding over there. What I'm going to try and do is get the lines to match up so that it matches the rest of the ceiling. Well, that's the cladding done with a little bit of frame. There's fascia boards to go over to cover the joins, but it has to be varnished to match the rest of the ceiling before I do that. And this might have to come off again, and the wall to put the insulation behind. So it's not a final fix yet. So yeah, that's done now. The light is in, although it's not connected yet. And I don't know, what do you think of that? Is that lined up? It looks quite close to me. And once the fascias are on, you'll never know. So that's the end of that little job. Well, what's next on this camper van build? I think the next thing is to put the wall in between the bedroom and the occasional shower. So what I've done is I've attached a piece of timber temporarily between the frame for the shower tray and the upper frame to give me a straight line. I've got some hardboard and attached it to the edge between the where the timber is, and I've scribed it into the wall to give me the shape of the wall. It doesn't have to be millimetre perfect because there's going to be carpet on the wall, on that wall and that wall. So it doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate, but obviously has to be somewhere near. The top right hand corner, as we're looking at now, doesn't have to be that accurate either, because there's going to be cabinets up there, and that little bit in the corner won't be seen. I've decided to make it with 18mm hardwood ply rather than the 12 that I normally use. So I've been down to my supplier this morning and he's cut me that bit just to make it a bit more easy to handle. And to be honest, this isn't the job I've been looking forward to, if I'm truthful. I knew it had to be done at some point, but I've not been looking forward to it. So I'll bite the bullet and try it, see what happens. Right, I've removed the template that I had scribed to the wall, and I've put it on top of this new hardboard, clamped it down and drawn around it. I've assumed that the factory edges are straight, so I've used those as the edges that had to be square. And also there was a chip out of the top corner in that one, so that's the corner that's going to be cut off. And it's all traced onto there now. We've just got to cut along the line and see if it fits. Well done. Just hope it fits. Well, I hope you can hear me alright, because I don't have the mic on, but that came out quite good. Definitely close enough for what I need. So I'm really pleased with that. It's not exact. There is a tiny little bit of a gap, which I could probably get better if I'd done a little bit more and tried it, but for two reasons I'm not going to do that. One is, it's right, the straight edge is right where I wanted it to be, the factory edge. So if I take any more off, that might move further and further across. And secondly, it's going to have carpet on, so the tiny little imperfections won't be seen anywhere. So first time. Yeah, you don't know how relieved I am that that's over. I wasn't looking forward to that at all. So I'm pleased. Well, I came in on Saturday to do a little bit. It's now Monday, and I've taken the doors off the kitchen unit and the step, and I'm going to do a little bit of varnishing today. Now, another thing that I did on Saturday was I decided to fit the shower tray, and I fit the shower tray, and I don't know if you can see all the things. I fitted it in with the sealer, and I've put some heavy weight on to keep it in place for 48 hours to let the sealer go off. Unfortunately, I didn't film that because I left my phone in the flat. So it was all straightforward stuff though. So we'll take the weight off and see if it's still in place. So I'll shower tray in now, and it seems to have worked fine. It's all sealed along the edges. There's 4 screws in the back which were just there to hold it while the sealer was going off. They will be taken out before the back wall is put in, and need to go around and trim the edges to get it an exact fit. Hi, I'll just give you a little update because guess what? We're stuck for some parts again. This time it's the waterproof wall covering for the shower. I ordered it the other day and accepted the order, and the day it was supposed to arrive I got an email saying they only had the smaller rolls and would that do. So I checked and it wouldn't do. So the order now is not expected until the end of the month. So I'm just going to get on with other bits and pieces. It has messed my plan up a little bit, but you have to be flexible. So I'll just show you what I'm doing now. There's nothing in permanent. The wall that you see there isn't secured. It's just in place. What I'm going to do now, I've done a bit of wiring, and I was going to do the insulation and vapor barrier, but no hurry now because as I say, I can't get the waterproof covering till the end of the month. So this is another job I wasn't looking forward to. I'm going to put the carpet trim around the window. Just the top and the bottom, not the vertical bits. I've done little spacer pieces and I'll put carpet on that, and that's for there. But I'm going to glue this directly to the bodywork, and I should have shown you before I put the tape on. This is all, the shape of the body is all holes like that, like every van is. And there's some bigger ones, so I didn't want the carpet to sag in there. So what I've done is I put 2 layers of gaffer tape on, and then I've put the aluminium vapor tape on top of that as well, and I'm going to stick to that. But I've had to tape everything up, as you can probably see, because I don't want the overspray of the glue to go on any of the bits where you don't want glue. So I'm ready now. I'm going to have my dinner first, but I'm going to do that today. I'm not going to film it because it's quite an intricate shape to try and carpet, and I don't want to be worrying about how the filming's going. So I'm not going to film it. Obviously I'll film it when it's done, but that's what I'm up to now. And I think the switch for the shower light is coming today, so maybe I'll get that done. Anyway, that's what we're up to now. I'll see you later. Well, the carpet's on, and it wasn't such a bad job after all. I've taken the masking tape off, as you can probably see, and that's it. I put the 2 pieces in that I said. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look in a second. It might look a bit untidy at the minute, but you've got to remember that the back of the seat comes to 32 inches, which is about there. So there's going to be a piece of wood along the top of there, but just looking like that, you won't see that, and that'll be the edge. And of course there's going to be cabinets on here, so they come down to about here yet. But you're talking way in the future for that, mind. So that's it. The light switch that I was talking about did come. Just a little tiny little black thing there, and there you go. That works okay now. And like I said, if you turn my main light switches up here, if you turn the light off there and you're getting up in the night, don't want to wake everybody up, that still works. So that's all okay now. I just thought you might be wondering why I put my switches so far apart. Light switches up the top of the door and the shower on there. The thinking behind that is that if you're going out on a dark night, the last thing you do before you leave is turn your lights off, and the first thing you do when you come in the dark is to turn your lights on. So you want your switch by the door, just in case you hadn't thought of that. And something else I was going to tell you. That's going to be stained, not stained, varnished to match the rest of the woodwork. But the thing I was going to tell you was, if you're thinking about doing this on your van, there is absolutely no, you can't feel the holes underneath there. It's worked really well. So if you were wondering how to fill in the holes, like these sorts of holes, 2 layers of gaffer tape and the vapor tape works great. Can't feel them at all, can't even tell where they are, really well. Well, that's us pretty much up to date. It's now June the 18th or 19th today, and my wall covering is promised for the end of the month, so that's about 10 days. So next week I'm going to come up and start doing the seating and whatever I can really to get ready for when the wall covering arrives. So watch this space. So for now, that's all. So you take care. Thank you for watching. And as I say, watch this space. Thanks for watching. Bye.